to a vigorous argument debating separation of powers. Today, we represent two sides that will explain their viewpoint on checks and balances, and why their opinion will serve the United States successfully. The two positions debating the Federalists are the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. With an exception this time, we have two Anti-Federalists. The Federalists believe that there shall be a powerful federal government. The government is based on three branches that all hold a balanced amount of powers. The three separate branches would have a check on each other to make sure that no one branch is gaining too much power. The Anti-Federalists believe that there shall be a powerful state government, so each state would retain its own independence. Now debating for the Federalists, we have James Madison, and for the Anti-Federalists, we have Samuel Bryan and Alexander Hamilton.
Greetings, fellow delegates from New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Virginia, New Jersey, Georgia, Connecticut, Delaware, and more.
Hello to you all. My name is Samuel Bryan. Usually when I write, I go by the pseudonym Sentinel.
Hello, delegates. You most likely already know me. I am James Madison. I wrote 28 of the 85 Federalist Papers.
And I am Alexander Hamilton, a very popular writer. I wrote documents about the Federalist views and the Anti-Federalist views. I wrote 52 of the 85 Federalist Papers. Anyway, let's get to the debate.
As a Federalist, I strongly believe that we could build a country that is so beautiful, but in order to do so, we need to run a strong central government that will be the foundation to guide all of the states.
As an anti-federalist, I disagree. We need a strong state government where all the people's voices are heard. How can a large central government ruling over such a huge amount of land listen to everyone's voices when all of the people have different interests?
Being an anti-federalist, the government can resort to a corrupt junta. We will not have the government controlling citizens day and night when they are here for a country founded on freedom. The government would be a strong, powerful body that is too strong to hear our citizens' voices. If the government cannot hear the people's voices, how are they going to progress a country where people can live happily with these changes? This country is a land that is meant to revolve around the people, not for the people to revolve around the government. We may as well go back to Britain if the government will control this people. This country is for the people.
In order to support a government where the powers are divided among the branches, it is important that each branch of government serves a different purpose. In addition, all of the members in one branch have as little say as possible about who is in the other branches. The three departments in the government all hold a balanced amount of power, and they all have a check on each other to avoid encroachments among the branches.
However, would the government separate the powers equally between branches? If all of the branches share an equal amount of power, how could one know if all of the powers would actually be fair? We cannot know what will happen until it occurs, and a fair democracy has never been achieved. We can trust that a democracy is the right path for the United States, but we do not know until it could potentially turn into an aristocracy.
The Senate can make laws that keep a president in power and keep senators in power. What happens if these powers stay in power for as long as they live? The Senate is a powerful body and holds too much power. If the people are trying to get elected and help others get elected in the process, then that is making a powerful body corrupt. The Senate will be an aristocracy because those with money and power get voted into that position and then again have the means to get reelected. What if a Senate member made a law that said they were to have absolute power for one day, and so they stayed in power forever? This is a country that can be deceived as well. One can never know a rival politician's motives. If in the future everyone becomes more calculating and manipulative, how can we create a safe government? These balances would just fall to pieces.
I interpreted this rule so that one department would not be able to gain too much power over the other departments by picking inexperienced members or members who would follow orders blindly. The only exception would be for the judiciary branch, where the members of the other departments are able to have a say about the judges. And it is important that the judges are qualified, and the members of the other departments will more likely pick qualified people than citizens who are not involved in the government. Since judges can never be fired, they can only retire or quit. There is no fear that judges could be controlled because they cannot be threatened with their jobs or salaries. Whilst the members of one department are influenced by members of the other branches, the powers of the departments are still divided evenly and fairly.
Even though you assert this, Mr. Madison, who knows what could happen in the future? The government could turn corrupt if one branch suddenly gains too much power. If, for example, a strong leader or group gains enough power, the government can turn into an aristocracy or a monarchy. Did we not just escape a rigorous monarchy from England? Why do you think that the colonies want to take this huge chance? The colonies will be better off with a strong state government, where we do not have to take chances, where we can know that the government will care about what we have to say.
Actually, Mr. Bryan, Mr. Madison is making a powerful point. The government can and will put laws and boundaries in this newly invented government. We can also create laws for this new government to make it seem as if one person tries to make this government corrupt, then we will be able to create dangerous laws to the public. And then, those actions could result in treasonous punishment or incarceration for life. It could be penalty of death and so on. We can make people fear to become a tyrant. We can also put limitations on the amount of times one can run for a specific office. We can also impose the fact on how powerful central government we have, and no one can hurt us without getting hurt back. We are making these rules to prevent an aristocracy or monarchy. These rules make it nearly impossible for the government to become an aristocracy. We are not giving the branches enough power so they have the ability to take over. Hence, it is impossible for the government to turn into an aristocracy. Yes, we did just escape a horrible monarchy from England, but if we follow the system of checks and balances, this problem will never occur again. The states need a strong federal government. These states cannot function well without each other's support, which is why a strong central government is key to the preservation of our country. An entire land cannot function properly with disputes. If the states are separate, they will fight about new land, economy, population, and resources. Each state has their own kinds of profit. If we bind them together, they will have incentive to work because their fates are tied. There will be a very large dispute between large lots of land to have a civil war.
How does this help our government? They would not fight because they would be their own separate state with their own government and their own problems. The states would not care about each other's land or disputes. In addition, anything can happen with politics, and a strong leader could turn aristocratic. You can say all of this about what could happen, but we are not sure until if it will be successful or aborted. Our people's voices need to be heard in order to have any government at all, and the only way our voices can be heard is if we have a strong state government that will care about everyone's opinions.
The people are the primary function of this government. If the citizens are what kept our government going, how could an aristocracy come about? If there is no federal government to unite the states could start fighting with each other because of their disputes.
If the citizens elect whom they want to run for a specific office, and there are multiple people running for that office, then the people's opinions would clash. These opinions would shape our newfound country. If we give the people responsibility to state their opinions, then actions would be taken because of the people's wants and necessities.
At the end of all of this debating, I am still questioning how checks and balances would structure our government in an effective way. There are so many possible ways that dividing the power could result in corruption. America cannot afford to waste time trying to make separating the powers work. We need a reliable government, and we need it fast. This is why the anti-federalists know that we need a strong state government that we can rely on to be true to the people and to the laws of the land. We already have state governments that have a successful economy where everything is set up for the people in a way that is efficient and effective.
Having a successful government includes distributing the property equally among the three branches. The United States can achieve this and make the government powerful and successful. The government can do so as long as we follow a successful democracy that will listen to the people. A strong federal government would be the best system that the United States shall resort to.
Thanks. I hate to end this heated debate, but I have to get back to my printing press. My apprentice is leaving and he still doesn't know how to lock the door.
All right. It has been a pleasure to argue. Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Madison, you both mentioned very persuasive arguments. I think you might have even convinced me to be on the Federalist side in the last few seconds that I've thought about it. The dark side of politics. Maybe a federal government could work successfully if we promise that we will be responsible to the citizens. We also have the power to put special laws in place to prevent the wrongdoings that everyone is worried about.
Aha, we have convinced Mr. Bryan that a strong central government could be achieved. Good evening to you both. I shall see you both, hopefully you, Mr. Bryan, at the next Federalist meeting.